What's up, guys? Back with another tier list. Um, Today we're going to be doing Dark Souls 2 bosses. If you guys watched my Dark Souls 1 boss tier list, this is going to be like the exact same formula. I'm just going to be ranking it based off of game design. Um, you might ask yourself, what is game design? So, in the context of Souls bosses, I'm looking at mechanics, I'm looking at user interactions. I'm looking at how you fight the boss, how you're intended to fight the boss. Um, I'm looking at bullshittery, I guess I should say. You know, some of these bosses are just. I'm gonna get into it, okay? You'll see. I'm gonna crash out a couple times because it's Dark Souls 2. Genuinely, okay. So let's address the elephant in the room, okay? Dark Souls 2 is, in my view, my eyes, the worst Soulsborne game. Out of the 7 games that FromSoft has made, it is the worst one. I still love this game. In fact, this is actually like, it's not my favorite game by any means, but if I was to make my own personal subjective list, this would not be in the last place, just off of enjoyment. Because there are some aspects about this game that I enjoy heavily. But if I'm trying to be as objective as possible, this is the worst game in the series. Okay, I'm sorry, it is, and the bosses are a huge reason for that. The bosses in this game overall are not good compared to Dark Souls 1 and specifically Dark Souls 3. Like, this game doesn't stack up. Okay. Mostly the base game. I'm gonna be honest, the DLCs. If this game as a whole was like the DLCs plural that they released, this would be probably the best Dark Souls game. But it's not. The DLCs feel like a proper Souls game, but the base game doesn't. The base game feels completely different. Um, Especially the bosses. More so the bosses than anything else. The bosses in the DLC are overall amazing. What's funny is each DLC has 2 bosses that I enjoy and then a boss that I hate. Um, each DLC actually, I don't know. No, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah. Um, so I just want to say this. In the beginning, you're gonna hear me shit on a lot of these bosses, but that's just because base game, the bosses suck. A lot of them do, but there are some very good ones. So we got a lot of diversity and variety here. Um, I'm also gonna say that this list is to scale for DS2. An S tier boss for DS2 is not an S tier boss for DS1 or DS3. Let's be real. I don't think there is a single boss on this list, non DLC, that honestly compares with the best bosses of DS1 and DS3. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. There are some good bosses. There's just a lot of garbage in between. So, yeah, let's get into it. We got the Last Giant. So this is going to be the first boss that you fight in game. Most likely, at least. I think this is the first boss you fight no matter what. No, actually you could. Okay, yeah. Either way. This is most people's first boss. Very, very good, like, beginning of the game, like getting into it boss. Like, I mean, there's not really much to talk about here. He's got a very direct and okay telegraphed moveset. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I love his design though, and then I am factoring um, character design, arena, and the OST into this. By the way, I know that's all subjective, but I think we can collectively agree somewhat as to what a good boss looks like and what a bad boss. Where are you? Oh, I can't find it. I'm blind. Oh well, I'll point it out if I see it. What a bad boss looks like. Oh, here you are. Yeah, what a bad boss looks like. The Last Giant is a pretty sick looking boss. Um, his moveset's whatever. But he's not a bullshit boss, okay? You know, you can. This is a totally a fair boss. It's very easy. Let's be real. It's a very easy boss, but um, I don't know. There's not really anything sinful that this boss does. So we're starting off okay. We're starting off pretty good. Oh, we got the Pursuer next. I think this fight is real. I think this boss is really good. Okay. Um, so you fight the Pursuer right after the last giant. This is right before you go to the Lost Bastille, and when you first meet the Pursuer, he has this really cool cutscene where he gets dropped off by the eagle, the falcon. I forgot what bird it was, but he gets dropped off, and then when he stands up, his eyes turn red, or like his laser visor vision or whatever turns red. It's so sick. Probably my favorite intro of a boss, cutscene wise in this game. Uh, Honestly, it's a very cool boss. You can cheese this fight too. Actually, the very beginning of the fight when he rushes towards you, you can run to one of the ballistas, and you could just kill him instantly if it's lined up correctly. Obviously, it doesn't work all the time, but yeah. Uh, Other than that, I like his moveset a lot. He's got a very cool moveset. It's not bullshit. This is a fight that takes some skill. I'd say there's a small learning curve, uh, compared to the last giant, at least. I honestly think this is one of the more difficult fights in the game, which is weird because this is like an early game fight. It's mostly just difficult because you're fighting him early game, and he has kind of a harder to figure out moveset. But his moves are telegraphed completely well. I honestly think the Pursuer is a very good fight. Um, yeah, it's A tier for me. Got the Ruined Sentinels next. I'm sorry, bro, but it's the Ruin. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I never really understood the hate for this boss until hold on, hmm. until I platinumed Dark Souls 2 myself, because on my New Game Plus playthrough, um, this boss took me like an hour to to fight. I'm not even gonna lie. This boss killed me more times in that New Game Plus playthrough than any other boss that I had to fight. It's like it's crazy, and I know that's just a personal thing. I'm not holding it against this boss. I think this boss sucks anyway, though. It's just cheese. You're fighting 3 NPC enemies at a time. Um, you can defeat the first one by itself, but then you have to fight the other two. They have some horrible attacks. Like, the swinging axe one is terrible. There's nothing you can do about it. You either have to, move really quickly out of the way, or you just take the hit. It's terrible. And when they both do it, oh my god, it can be really hard to dodge both of their attacks. I find that a lot of times you'll just take damage no matter what. You just have to pick and choose, because you're not always going to be able to avoid all their attacks, because one will swing at you, you'll dodge that, and then the other one will just swing right as you get up. It's so annoying. It's bullshit as it gets. I think this fight would have been 10 times better if you fought one after another, instead of having to fight one by itself and then two. And by the way, if you fall off the ledge, where the first one is, when you first enter the arena, you have to fight all three at the same time. So, yeah, like, it's not like the game was trying to be nice. Like, you will have to fight all three at the same time if you roll off that ledge, which is a very small ledge, by the way. Um, anyway, yeah, I also dislike this fight a lot because later in the game, you're gonna have to fight Ruined Sentinels as just NPCs, and it just comes off as lazy. Did this really have to be a boss fight? Could you not have just fought a couple Ruined Sentinels? Like, why we're just making bosses for no reason, it feels like. That's a common theme, by the way. There are at least 10 bosses on this list, which I feel like could have not been bosses, and they could have just been, like, NPCs. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, I think it sounds nice for a Souls game to have 41 bosses. Um, But when a lot of them are just NPC fights, it's like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Like, lock in. Uh, Next is the Belfry Gargoyles. I actually do like this fight. It's very reminiscent of DS1. I can see that they pretty much just took DS1's fight and made it to DS2, but with DS2 problems because DS2 has to multiply the enemy number by fucking 3 times. So instead of 2 gargoyles, I think there's 6 this time. Um, this is an optional fight though. Well, actually, wait, is this optional? Yeah, no, this is an optional fight. Yes, it is. Um, and I will be honest, I don't hold things against optional fights as much because the game isn't being as pretentious. Like, I mean, if I had to fight the Belfry Gargoyles, I think I'd dislike it a little more. But because you have an option to not do it, I understand. This fight isn't, for me at least, it's not bullshit. I think it's a solid fight. I mean, it can be annoying when there's like, oh my gosh, 4 gargoyles on you at once, but their individual health bars aren't too high. This is an NPC fight though. You're fighting like a bunch of gargoyles, which culminate in the total health bar, which I'm not a huge fan of. They could have just done like one huge gargoyle, but and this is the first time I'm talking about it, but the level design subtracts some points from this because you can just roll off the map and die. It's not actually, it's pretty common. I've seen a lot of people die because they just roll off the map. Um, so yeah, it's not, up there. Again, DS1 also had that issue though. This isn't DS1 though. I don't know why I brought that up. Similar problems though. The gargoyles are, it's a whatever fight. I mean, I don't know. Um, it's a C tier fight for me. Let's be real. We got the Lost Sinner next. Yeah, this is yeah. I think no. It's not gonna be top of A tier for me because there are a couple bosses I think go ahead of it. But yeah, this is a very good fight. It's a very good fight. So this is the next boss to have a cutscene. The cutscene is very solid, and this is one of, I don't remember, I can't recall, but this is a boss where you can actually influence the arena. So if you were to just fight the Lost Sinner by itself, without doing anything, you would fight him in a, arena that's completely pitch black, and it can be kind of annoying, especially if you're not locking on. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't be locked on, but he can jump around and move, and it can be kind of hard to see in the dark. But before the fight, if you decide not to, rush in, you can actually light 2 fires on the side of the building, and that will cause the arena to be lit up, and so it's easier to see, which makes the boss fight honestly way easier. Not way easier, but definitely easier. It's definitely more. It's definitely easier to telegraph his moves. Design wise, I love it. I love the design of the Lost Sinner. Her moveset is really, really well telegraphed. I think they did a really good job with her moveset. The arena isn't bullshit. I mean, there's no way you could, die from environmental damage at all. It's a really good fight, and it's challenging, but it's challenging in a good way. It's not challenging in a way that's completely unfair. It's actually a good fight. If only the other Lord bosses were this good, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think that this is the best of the 4 Lord bosses. Personally, wait, let me think. We got the Lost Sinner, Duke. Who else? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Why did how am I forgetting the lords? Moving on. Oh yeah. The Rotten, and then the Old Iron King. Definitely the best of the 4, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the Rotten. Um, hmm. This is kind of a harder one to place for me because I think that this is actually like it's not that bad of a fight. Um, I just I don't know. I think it's a solid fight. His design is gnarly. The arena's kind of whatever. You can take environmental damage from like the fire pits, but it's easy to avoid. His attacks are easy to telegraph. He does have an annoying AoE, but he rarely does it. Um, I don't know. If we're being honest, for me this wasn't anything special as far as a boss goes. Um, I think he's definitely the no, yeah, I don't know if he's the worst Lord Soul fight, but he's probably third in line for being worst. Um, Nothing special. Uh, I know I might get some flack for that. I don't know. I think this is more like a favorite, not a favorite, but one of the more liked bosses in the community. So I don't know, but I personally just don't have much fondness. It's definitely better than the gargoyles, so let's be real. Um, yeah, C tier is fine for me. We got the old Dragon Slayer next. Solid fight. This is a B tier fight. Um, I almost want to put it in A tier. I might put it in A tier. Uh for now I'm gonna put it in A tier. But it could be moved down, I don't know. This is obviously based off of Ornstein. It's not Ornstein from DS1, but it's based off of Ornstein. Um, but it's a solid fight. Uh, very cool fight. Almost the same moves as Ornstein in DS1. So that's kind of cool. If you were really good at Ornstein and Smo, then this fight was probably a breeze for you. But I like this fight a lot. It's optional, which is nice. It's just kind of weird. I don't understand why they made this fight optional, but they made old Dragon Rider like what's the word? Mandatory. Like why not switch the bosses? Like this would have been a way better optional fight. Like I mean, think about that. How many people didn't only played DS2 once and didn't end up fighting him because they didn't have to. So they missed out on a really memorable boss. I don't know if that happened to anyone, but I can imagine that it did and can happen. So I don't know. Yeah, but it is a solid fight. Love the design. Obviously, it's Ornstein, iconic. There is no intro cutscene, but it's fine. The music is very good. The arena's nice. You're in like a chapel. Um, yeah, solid fight, man. Dragon Rider's next, man. Oh my god. This should have been the optional boss. Ugh, cause dude, there I don't know, this boss just doesn't have to exist. It shouldn't have been a boss. It could have just been an NPC. They just made it a boss to make it a boss. There are several Dragon Rider NPCs later in the game. Um, I don't know why they didn't just make this one an NPC. So yeah, it's just not a. It's just a bad boss, for being real. At least Ruin Sentinel was like a challenge kind of, and it actually felt good to get past. This is just, you know, like, no, but Ruin Sentinel was bullshit though. I honestly, that fight was bullshit. Let's be real. I know there was a ton of people that struggled on Ruin Sentinel. There has to be, Dragon Rider for me, it's just a nothing boss that shouldn't exist. Really shouldn't exist. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't. Got the Flexile Sentry next. Same situation as the Dragon Rider. It shouldn't exist. I don't know why this was a boss. It feels so anticlimactic because when you're in that pirate section, I forget the name of it. The Lost something. I don't remember. No, the Cove. I don't remember. But the build up is like it seems like there should be a dope ass boss, but no, it's just a Flexile Sentry, and it is literally just an NPC boss. Um, Technically, it's not because there's only one, and it is a boss health bar. But like, there are Flexile Sentries later in the game. I don't know. It feels like this didn't have to be a boss. I mean, maybe they felt like they had to put a boss at the end of that section, but I don't know. Personally, what are they doing? You know, uh, it's just it's just a bad fight. Um, I think the Flexile Sentry is at least cooler than the Dragon Rider because there's more to learn. The gimmick with the Sentry is that there are two sides of his body. It's like a Siamese twin design. So while one side is attacking, the other side is not attacking. So you attack the side that isn't attacking. At least there's something to learn, you know. The Dragon Rider, there's nothing. But it's not a bullshit fight. The arena is very small, and this is a melee oriented boss, so it's trying to get up in your face. Um, so the arena can really hurt, but I don't know. Personally, it's not that big of a deal for me, so I'm gonna just keep it in D tier. We got the Executioner's Chariot next, optional boss, which is nice. It's a gimmick boss. I'd say this is the most Demon Souls like boss in the game because you have to close the gate on it until for you to actually initiate the boss fight. You could shoot arrows at it as it like runs past with the arena, which I've seen a lot of people do, not knowing they were supposed to pull the gate. So I'm glad that that worked for you guys, whoever did that, but that's not how I do it. The boss fight itself, again, this isn't a unique boss because there's another chariot later in the game, in the Drangleic Castle, I believe. I believe there's one, maybe two. So yeah, it's I don't know. I like that it was a gimmick though, but the skeletons in the arena suck. So do the mages. It can really make this fight annoying, and it's in a very cramped space. The hitboxes are dumb. Just DS2 problems. I mean, this is just commonplace stuff at this point. But I think it's a good boss, though. I mean, not a good boss, but as far as like optional side stuff, like it's okay, you know. It's definitely better than the Rotten. No. I'm sorry. No, the Rotten is definitely better than Executioner's Chariot. In fact, I'm putting the Rotten in B tier just because I know C is gonna get bloated, and the Rotten isn't that bad. Okay. Got the Skeleton Lords. Wow. This isn't the worst boss in the game. No, wait. Let me think. It's definitely F tier. Definitely F tier. By the way, F tier is going to be reserved for bosses that are entirely NPC based. Not NPC as in Flexile Sentry or Dragon Rider, in which later in the game they're an NPC, but bosses in which you're literally fighting a group of NPCs who have small health bars that contribute to the main health bar. Like, what is the point of it even being a boss fight? I don't get it. I don't get it. The only exception in the entire Souls series to that is the Four Kings, because that one actually makes sense and it works. But the Skeleton Lords, it's just like bullshit gank fight. So the idea is you go in the arena, there are 3 Skeleton Lords. When you kill one, after it dies, it spawns a bunch of skeletons, and each Lord has like a different group of skeletons that it will spawn. So one will spawn like 2 or 3 bone wheels. The other one will spawn a horde of like skeletons, and the other one will also spawn a horde of skeletons. So if you kill all 3 skeleton lords, you're gonna be fighting like, 20 plus skeletons at a time, and it's cancer. Bone wheels are easily my least favorite enemy in the game. No, not my least favorite, but one of my least favorite enemies in any of the Souls games is the bone wheel, and they're in this boss fight. It's just, this isn't a good boss fight. It isn't. It's just an NPC fight. Um, I mean, their designs are cool. The music is nice. The arena is well designed, but this isn't a boss fight. Let's be real. It's not a boss fight. Um, I don't think there's much else for me to say. It's F tier. Got Mytha the Baneful Queen next. Um, um, Very Medusa like. It's like a serpent look. I love her design is amazing. Um, she is another boss similar to the Lost Sinner, in which you can influence the arena. In this case, though, if you don't influence the arena, um, you're probably not gonna like be able to beat this boss because if you don't, so in order to influence the arena, you have to set fire to a windmill, and if you don't do that, then the arena when you fight her is covered in poison, and so you take poison damage the whole time, and that poison simultaneously heals the boss. So it sucks. But if you do light it on fire, then you won't have to deal with any of that, and you'll just fight her as is, which is really nice. I think this is a very solid boss. I think the moves are nice. They're well telegraphed. The arena isn't gank. She has some annoying moves, though. Let's be real. Some of her magic attacks are very dumb. But it's honestly not terrible. It's not a bad fight. I honestly think this is a very solid fight. It's at the top of B tier for me. It just doesn't scream A tier, okay? It doesn't scream A tier. Got the Covetous Demon next. Yep. At least this is a boss. At least this is a boss. It's not just a bunch of NPCs, but it's a garbage boss. It's a garbage boss. Everyone knows why. I mean, do I even have to explain myself? It's just Jabba the Hutt in this dumbass well, the arena isn't the problem, okay? This boss is just lazy. It's just a lazy garbage boss that I can tell nobody put effort into. It's just not a good boss. The moveset is gank. There are some terrible moves. Specifically the one where he moves to the side. And the hitbox on this boss is just the worst. I mean, oh my gosh. It's not, this boss isn't hard or challenging. It's just lazy. And I think that's probably the biggest sin that a boss can have. Other than being an NPC boss fight. Which, let's be real, is the worst thing that a boss can do in this game. Like, how could you even call it? No, there's a boss, an NPC boss fight, that is 10 times worse than this. And I can't wait to talk about it because it commits... Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. We had Smelter Demon next. So, the Smelter Demon actually appears twice in DS2. Once in the base game, in the Old Iron Keep, and then a second time in the Iron King DLC. Right here. They're the same exact boss, except for one is blue. For continuity's sake, I'll rank that one later, but it is the exact same boss. I low-key want to rank them together, but I can't do that. I can't. I gotta stick to the program. Smelter Demon is a solid fight. I think Smelter Demon gets a lot of hate because it has like bottom 3 runbacks in the entire game. You're gonna be dying to this boss a couple times because its moveset is really hard to like get used to. So you'll have to run back, and the run back is terrible. You probably know what I'm talking about. Smelter Demon is an optional boss though. Not sure why you wouldn't do it though, because it unlocks a bonfire that makes your life like 10 times easier. But it is optional. I don't know, but I'm not factoring in runbacks, obviously, because that's unfair. But I think that's why this boss gets a lot of hate by the community, because it's just the worst. Overall, his attacks are whatever. He has a really annoying AoE attack, which is kind of hard to get out of because he does it and then you don't know he's doing it, and then he, starts doing the attack, and by the time you realize it's too late. His design is sick though. I like his design. The arena isn't bad either. It's solid. There's not much to talk about. It's kind of just a whatever fight. It's top of C tier for me. It doesn't really. No, honestly, I respect this boss. It's a challenge. The moveset is nice. It's different. It may not be the best. Well, may not be the best telegraphed, but it is definitely better than the rest of these. Let's be real. I actually do think no. I think that's solid for B tier. I think that's how I'll put B tier. Yeah, got the Old Iron King next. Definitely the worst Lord Soul boss fight. Definitely the weakest. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right, is what I'm trying to say. Like, for a main story boss, like, it's just so lame. I mean, not to mention the fact that the arena is terrible. Dude, this is the definition of a fight that would otherwise be easy if it wasn't for one environmental issue, and that's the fact that there is this gaping hole on the backside of this small ass arena that leads to the pit of lava, and it's so easy to either A, roll off the fucking map into the lava, or B, get knocked off because this boss has crazy knockback for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's very easy to die from environmental damage. That's my biggest complaint. Otherwise, the moveset is well telegraphed. I like the design a lot. Like, this is probably this is probably my favorite Lord Soul design. Not Lord Soul. What the hell, Lord? What, I don't even know what the Great Lord. Yeah, Great Lord. Definitely my favorite Great Lord boss design. Because it's the classic Satan look. He's dope. He's got 2 wings. He got horns. He swims in lava. He doesn't leave the lava the whole fight. It's nice, and it's a lot different than the other Lord Soul fights. I actually do think that it's kind of a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, it's also the weakest of the Lord Soul fights. I keep saying Lord Soul. It's not. It's Great Lord. Whatever. Moving on. That it's just a C tier fight though. I mean, it doesn't scream good at all. It's better than these though, but it's just not a good boss fight if we're being 100%. Okay. We've got the Royal Rat Vanguard. Oh my gosh, bro. So this is another NPC fight. So it's technically not an NPC fight because there's only one health bar pertaining to one enemy, and that's the Vanguard rat. But while you're fighting him, you're also fighting an infinitely amount of respawning rats, and that can be really annoying. It's not technically an NPC fight, so I'm not going to put it here. It's also unique. It's not, these assets aren't used again. But it's not a good fight. Let's be real. At least it's optional and it's easy. But there's nothing that's memorable about it other than the fact that it's dog shit. But it's not as sinful as this fight or some of the other fights that are going to be in this boss fights that are going to be in this tier. So we're going to put this in E tier. Covetous Demon is better, but when you're in E tier, what does better even mean? Wow, this boss fight is better than this boss fight. Well, doesn't matter. You guys are both still dog shit. I hate you guys. Terrible boss fights. Scorpioness Najka is next. I've always liked this fight. It's just Quelaag, but Scorpion. Uh, she's got a really cool design. One of the coolest designs in the game. Half Scorpion, half woman. I don't know what you would call that, but she's got some cool moves. Well telegraphed. I honestly think this is one of the better fights in the game. I really do like this fight. She's honestly got some of the coolest moves in the game. Like, she can go underneath the sand and then pop out full tremor. Oh my god, tremors mode. If you know that reference, you're a goat. But she's got some really cool moves. Her design is epic. The arena is not egregious whatsoever. It's actually a really cool arena. There's nothing wrong with this fight. It's actually a good boss fight. So yeah, I'm gonna put it right there. The Royal Red Authority next, as if the Vanguard wasn't bad enough. Actually, no, this fight is better because it feels more like a proper boss fight. Like, genuinely, why did this have to be a boss? Like, the health bar was so short or so minuscule anyway. Like, it could have just been an NPC. It didn't have to be a boss. This actually does feel like a boss. It's still not a good fight, though. It's still not a good fight. It's just lame. It's just this big ass, like, dingo-looking rat with those dumbass, petrifying raccoon things. I don't even know what they're called in the arena. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. It's just a nothing boss. And it's optional too, so you may have missed this entirely. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you if you tried fighting this boss, died, and just never came back to it because of how lame it actually is. It's just bad. I'm sorry, it's just bad. It's just bad. Moving on. Got probably the most sinful boss in the entire game. No, maybe not the most sinful, but definitely no. I'm looking at the remaining bosses and I'm like, yeah. This is probably the worst boss in the game. I don't even know why this was a boss. Like, why couldn't this just be a room full of NPCs that are unique to that room instead of being a boss fight with air quotation marks? Like, so there's 2 health bars. One health bar pertains to this guy with the black cloak. And then the other health bar pertains to these floor dudes, the hollows, and then this guy, and then another guy that looks exactly like him. What would you call them? The bishops, I guess. So this is Magus and this is the congregation, right? The other NPCs. Easiest boss in the game, arguably the easiest boss in the game. Just a bunch of NPCs. It's like, dude, this is a boss fight? Like, are we serious? Like, this is a fucking boss fight? It's not a boss fight. It isn't a boss fight. Like, at this point, I'm not even shitting on the enemies, because it's not the enemies that's the fault. It's the fault that this is considered a boss fight. Like, why did they give this a health bar? Like, it's just a question that I ask myself, like, why did this have to be a boss? You know? I mean, it's not a boss. This isn't a boss. Sorry, but it's the worst fight in the game. Probably the worst fight in the game. Maybe not. There's some other garbage bosses in this list, but I think for the most part, the worst bosses, we've already gone through them, with the exception of a few. We got the Dukestir Freyja next. This is the last great lord that we're going to be talking about. It's the 4th one. It's this huge spider. One of the coolest designs in the game. So similar to the Flexile Sentry, she actually... I don't know if it's a she. I think it is a she. She has 2 like sides of the body, and you can only hit either of those sides of the body, specifically the head. You can only hit the head on either side. So while one side is attacking, the other side is dormant, and you attack the side. Well, you can attack either side, it doesn't matter, but optimally you'd be attacking the side that's not doing anything. Um, but yeah, it's a nice gimmick. I like her attacks. She's got some cool attacks. I mean, it's a huge spider. Uh, I would expect that it has some cool attacks. You can actually counter this boss beforehand if you're on New Game, or any of the New Game pluses, because this boss will show up before you enter um, her like domain. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a precursor. You can't kill her or anything. You can't do damage, um, but it's kind of cool to see that. I don't count that as part of the boss fight, but it's cool to mention. Um, I would say this is the second best Great Lord. It's not on the same level as the Lost Sinner though, because this boss does have some BS. Like the spiders that it can spawn. So it starts off with 3 spiders, and then later in the fight it can spawn a couple spiders, I believe. And that's just annoying. I hate having to fight NPCs alongside a main boss. But I do think this is a good fight. I really do. We got the Guardian Dragon next. I'm a sucker for dragons in Dark Souls games. I think that's mostly because the dragon fights tend to be some of the best in the game overall. The Guardian Dragon is not an exception to that. I do think this is a very good boss fight. Not S tier, but I think that this is a very solid fight. The arena is very cool. The soundtrack is amazing, and it's a dragon. Breathes fire. It's got a terrible attack that all of the dragons in this game do, but it hovers above and it just spews fire down, and chances are you're gonna get caught in it because it covers like most of the arena, and it's very hard to run away from. But other than that, there's nothing bad about this fight, honestly. It's just there is a dragon fight that is better than this, and that's why it's not going to be an S tier for me. Also, Lost Sinner is better, and if Lost Sinner is not an S tier for me, then the Guardian Dragon isn't. But yeah, now we got the Ancient Dragon. So I just got done talking about how there's a dragon fight that is better, and the Ancient Dragon is not that fight. In fact, this piece of dog shit is going to be an E tier for me, which is terrible, because as far as design goes, this probably has arguably the coolest design in the game, but it's genuinely the hardest boss fight in the game simply because of garbage game design. It's completely RNG, and depending on the moves that he does, I mean, you could just get killed immediately, and there's nothing you can do about it. Specifically his AoE attacks. I'm really sorry. I don't want to put this in E tier, and I'm not going to. I want to put it in D tier, top of D tier, because it is a memorable fight. Okay, it is memorable. I mean, no one would blame you if you forgot about these, but at least the Ancient Dragon is, memorable. It just sucks. It just sucks. It is optional. It is an optional fight. It's not like you have to fight him. If you did have to fight him, he'd be down here. But, I don't know. That's where I'm going to leave it. This has nothing to do with his appearance. His appearance is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The arena is sick. But the moveset is so terribly telegraphed. I can't put it anywhere other than D tier. We got the Dark Lurker next. Another optional boss. This is hidden behind the Way of the Dark Covenant. I believe that's the name of it. So you have to do 3 trials. After the 3rd trial, you fight the Dark Lurker. First phase, the first time you fight the Dark Lurker, you're probably going to be saying to yourself, oh my gosh, this fight is really cool, and it's also easy. Then, second phase, the Dark Lurker spawns a copy of itself, and you have to fight 2 of them. Luckily, they have the same health bar, but having to deal with 2 Dark Lurkers is cancer. It's actually like ball cancer. Like, ball cancer in both balls, um, plus a side of like, I don't know, gallbladder removal disease. I don't know what you would call that. Just the most awkward, terrible boss fight of all time. Like, not no, okay, not of all time. I'm getting oh no. I did not mean to say that. Um, but it's just gank. It's a gank fight. You're probably gonna die like so many times because of how dumb this fight is. And I just, oh, and the run back is entirely dependent on which um, trial you did last. So if you did the one with the Havel Phantom and the Xanthias Phantom, you're cooked. Because you're going to have to, sorry, excuse me. You're going to have to run back with those god-awful phantoms and then fight the Dark Lurker every time. It's like so annoying. So hopefully you did the third trial as like the easiest one so that every time you run back it's not cancer. But yeah, this fight is gank. I do love the design though. It's probably one of my favorite designs in the game. It's like this Reaper Fallen Angel vibe. I really dig it. I jive with it a lot. The OST is impeccable and the soundtrack, the arena is also nice, but it's gank. It's a gank fight. I can't see myself putting the Dark Lurker anywhere other than B tier. No, see, it's a C tier. No. I'm gonna put it in C tier because of its gankness. Because dude, this boss has so many different moves. So one of them will be shooting fireballs at you, and the other one will be swinging a soul sword. And it's like, how are you meant to dodge all of that and then do damage? You'll have to wait like 15 seconds in between your hits of damage. So this fight can take forever, and then you just die because you accidentally dodged at the wrong time and you got one shot. I hate it. It's gank. It might be moved up to B tier later, but for now it's C tier. We got the Giant Lord. So this is the second giant boss fight you'll be dealing with, and it's entirely in a dream. It's very cool. This is a very cool fight. Definitely my favorite arena because you're fighting him in the middle of a battlefield, and so there's all this like chaos going around you. It's kind of easy to get taken aback by it. So yeah, it's one of my favorite arenas. The OST is amazing. His design is very cool. Moveset is almost the exact same as the last giant, so there's not much difference there. But this fight is more challenging. There's more to kind of figure out, but his moves are well telegraphed. I really do appreciate this fight. I honestly do. If the last giant is going in C tier, and I'm putting the Giant Lord in B tier. No, actually, it's going in A tier. I'm going to move the I mean, they're all good bosses. I'm gonna move Dark Lurker up to B tier. Bottom of B tier, by the way. Smelter Demon in C tier. I think that's solid. Yeah, that's fine. Oh wow, look what we have here. Another dog shit boss fight that I don't think should have been in the game. No clue why this exists. Just trash. I mean, what is there to say about this boss fight? It's just Dragon Rider again, but there's two of them. And the second, at least they're two different Dragon Riders. They both have different designs. And one of them has a smaller health bar, but it's like why did this have to be a boss? Like, I mean, you have to understand, like, I don't have anything against the Dragon Rider as an NPC, okay? I just have a problem with this being a boss. compared to the other bosses in the game. Like, this doesn't stack up with most other stuff. So it's just an E tier for me. I mean, at least the Dragon Rider, no, at least this has like some more challenge to it. I mean, you could honestly swap these around. Honestly, I'm moving this in E tier. They're just not good boss fights. Uh, Flexile Sentry also goes down here. Now that I think about it, um, yeah, I think that's fair. It's just, I mean, what do I have to say? I don't want to talk about this garbage boss fight anymore because I want to start talking about Peak. We got our first S tier of the list. Um, yeah, the Looking Glass Knight. I think a lot of you were expecting this to be an S tier. I think it would be a disservice to put this boss anywhere other than S tier. I think this boss is the best boss in the base game, and it's just so simple. It's just such a simple boss. So, design. Maybe my favorite design of any boss in the game. Uh, it reminds me a lot of uh, like a Crusader, uh, like Baldwin kind of vibe. You know, I get a lot of like, um, I don't know. His armor is sick, specifically his helmet, and his shield, which is like a mirror. His move set is amazing. Very, 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 very cool move set. Um, he can spawn, or he will spawn, uh, a phantom in the middle of the fight. Uh, and I think that's really cool. Probably one of my favorite moves of a boss. I don't know. It's just cool. It comes out of his shield. It's also a challenging fight, but it's not challenging in a bad way. It's challenging in a good way, and that's kind of an essence to being a really good boss fight in Dark Souls games. I'd like the boss to be challenging ideally, but I don't want it to be challenging in, a garbage RNG, if it does this move, you're fucked kind of way. Like, it should be challenging in a way that is player based, not boss based. There should be a little bit of challenge because of the boss, but I think a lot of it should come down to learning curve. And this fight is a very good example of that. So to recap, OST, design, move set, uh, it's all impeccable. I love this fight. Uh, Moving on, we got the Demon of Song. So after I just got done absolutely glazing the last fight, we have to talk about this garbage. I mean, it's just the word. I mean, I'm tired of talking about these terrible fights because, oh, I'm so tired of it. Look at how bloated E tier is now. I gotta. Mm, at least compared to these, it's an actual boss. Sorry, Covetous Demon, but I'm still not respecting you yet. Oh, but it's so bad. It's such a bad boss fight, bro. It's so garbage. I mean, I'm just gonna have to put it here. I'm sorry. It's worse than these bosses. It just is. I'm so sorry, but I'm so tired about talking about these dog shit bosses. So basically, to briefly explain this boss and why I don't like it. Moveset is garbage. The design is just so weird. It's this skeleton head frog with human arms and foreskin. And if that doesn't sound weird to you, then okay, I don't know what does. And I'm not saying that the design being weird is bad. It's just, it comes off as lazy because you can tell that this was a lazy boss that they didn't put a lot of effort into. Moveset is egregiously terrible. It is not memorable whatsoever. It's garbage, garbage, garbage. I'm done talking about it. If you played the game, you know why. We got Velshot next. Velshot is a solid boss. He reminds me a lot of Looking Glass Knight, but not as memorable. Uh, he's one of the late game boss fights. You'll fight him in this cramped area. His hammer can be quite a problem. I feel like sometimes it's a little BS. The hitboxes with this boss are especially egregious. Um, you probably know what I'm talking about. I feel like this dude hits me when I'm like a mile away, and it's like, what? Like, you did all my damage, but your fucking dumbass bell hammer didn't even touch me. Um, he has some annoying attacks, but I think for the most part they're whatever. His design is nice though. I like his design. I just think it's I just think it's just poor game design overall. I think it's too cramped of a space to have a boss this uh, up and close oriented. So yeah, top of B tier for me. But I don't think it's a bad boss. Speaking of bad bosses, Vendrick. Uh, yeah, Vendrick is terrible. Oh my god, surprise. It's going at the bottom or top half of D tier, simply because number one is optional. Unless you want to get the Aldia ending, in which it's not optional, and I do recommend that you go for that ending because it's just better overall. But this boss sucks. It has seemingly infinite health bar, which no, I don't. I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but it's just way too big of a health bar. Um, an attack that can combo you and kill you in like a second. And overall, it just sucks. You'll have to spend like 4 minutes. No, not 4 minutes. I'm sorry. Like solid 2.5, 3 minutes killing this guy, because you have to wait for his combo to end. Then you hit him once, wait for his combo to end. You hit him once, wait for his, and then it's just so monotonous. Goes on and on and on and on, and it just is terrible. At least the design is cool, and the arena is what it is. You know, it's not bad. It's a cool arena, but what else is there to say? It's just a terrible gank fight that shouldn't be this bad, but it is that bad. So yeah. All right. So now we're on to the final three base game bosses: Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, which I think is a solid B tier fight. This is Throne Watcher. This is Throne Defender. The most memorable thing about them is that if one dies and the other one is still alive, after a certain amount of time, they can heal each other. So you will have to take them out in quick succession. Design is cool. Arena is whatever. OST's not even mentionable. I don't know. It's just a whatever fight. Not bad. Not bad. But, I think that's because it's the pregame to the real boss fights, which is Nashandra and Aldia. So we'll talk about Nashandra first. I think Nashandra is a very solid fight for the end of the game. Nothing crazy. I honestly think that Nashandra is just a B tier fight. For the last boss of the game, it's really underwhelming. She's got some BS game design with the curse, and I just it's a headache. I've never been able to do this boss first try. I've always died at least once or twice. Mostly because of the curse, but also because your scythe has infinite range somehow. I don't know. It's just a mid boss. It is. Her design is cool though. She reminds me a lot of Gravelord Nito. Very similar design. She has a cool cutscene. The OST's nice, but just B tier. Aldia, wow. Yeah, just trash. So Aldia is... Oh, so if you did Aldia's quest line, which isn't even really a quest line, but if you did do the quest line, at the end of the game, you'll fight the Throne Watcher and Throne Defender. Then you'll fight Nashandra, then you'll fight Aldia in quick succession. Oh my god, Aldia is the worst of the three, and it's not even funny. It's just the worst design imaginable. Not imaginable, but definitely terrible. So his gimmick is you can't attack him while he's surrounded by fire. So you have to wait for the fire to go out. Um, just so easy. So this is what you do: you wait for him to teleport, you get damage in, and then you wait for him to do his moves, and then you wait for him to teleport, then you do get damage in. It's just a monotonous cycle of rinse and repeat, similar to Vendrick. Um, I find Vendrick to be more egregious though because you have to kill Vendrick to do Aldia. Vendrick takes longer and is also it's easier to die because of bullshit. So yeah, but they're in the same class, just terribly designed bosses. I don't know why this is the last boss of the game. I mean, I know why it's the last boss of the game because he's the scholar of the first sin, but um, why did they make it this way? Like, they could have done it. Could have been executed way better. Um, so we're finally done talking about the base game. Only one S tier for me. The Lost Sinner is close, but the only reason I'm not putting it in S tier is because I'm reminded of how good most of the DLC bosses are. So we're starting off with Alana. I think she's a solid, like, I think she's top of B tier for me. Very good boss fight. You fight her right before Sind. She's kind of whatever. I think she's cool. She can summon what would you call him? A phantom boss. I don't know the different kinds of phantoms she can summon, but for me, she summoned Velstadt. So I think she just summons Velstadt. I don't know. She could summon different ones, I guess. I don't know how that works. I thought that was cool. It was a little annoying, though, having to deal with him and her. But she's easy enough. The OST's nice. The arena's whatever. Her moveset's a little gank. Because some of her, like, sorcery moves are very annoying. But it's not a hard fight. It's really not a hard boss fight, for being real. I've done this first try. I've never died to her before. So yeah, it's top of B tier for me. And now we can talk about easily the best dragon boss fight in the game. Sind, the slumbering dragon. I do like Sind more than Looking Glass Knight. No, I don't know. They're up there together. Amazing OST, amazing arena, amazing design, amazing moves, very well telegraphed. The moves are also they just look amazing. It's a mix of fire and poison, I believe. He flies in the air. There's arena destruction with the stalagmites. It's just really cool. It's a really cool design. Personally love this boss. Very fitting for the end of the Sunken King DLC. I do think this is a very good boss fight. Definitely the weakest S tier fight for the DLCs. No, definitely the weakest S tier fight overall, but still very good, very memorable boss fight. Next we got Grave Robber Varg and Sarah. Yeah, this fight is just gank, bro. I mean, what else is there to say, dude? I mean, I like it because Havel. But if we're being real, if it wasn't for Havel, like, nobody would like this fight. It's optional. It's the deadly trio, the ungodly, terrible trio everyone talks about. And that's because their move sets combined are terrible. You're fighting 3 NPCs. They have their own health bar, though. So it's okay. It's forgivable. They're one-offs anyway. So you don't see them later in the game, so it's okay. So Havel is Varg. Grave Robber is this, like, thief kind of guy. And then Sarah is an archer. Combined, they suck. They can... Oh, sorry. Excuse me. They can gang up on you so easily. They can knock you on the ground. They can do so much damage. It is the worst. And I have utmost respect for those that had the patience to do this fight, because I know that you died so many times. This is just a bullshit, or not RNG, but gank fight. It's a gank fight, if we're being 100% honest with ourselves. Yeah, it's a D tier fight. Moving on to the Iron King DLC. We got the Smelter Demon. The blue Smelter Demon. I'm not going to talk about it at all. It's just Smelter Demon, but blue. Uh, it's completely, I don't know. You can put them wherever you want. Personally, I'm putting blue ahead because I think blue is cooler, if we're being honest. But it's the exact same boss fight. I think, you know what's funny? They both have terrible runbacks. Like, the blue Smelter Demon has the worst runback in the entirety of the DLC except for Frigid Outskirts. Oh my god. We're going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, it's funny how they both do the same things wrong. So yeah, they're interchangeable. Fume Knight. Oh, Fume Knight. S tier, S tier, S tier. Amazing boss. Hardest boss in the game. This was the boss that I felt the most rewarded by doing. He's a very cool design, amazingly telegraphed moves. He's hard, but he's not hard in a bullshit way like the Looking Glass. He's hard in a way that like makes you want to learn his moveset. A lot of people find his first phase to be the most challenging, but I think the second phase is way more challenging. I'd say the only move that I have a problem with is his slow sword swing. He lights his sword on fire, and then he slowly, not slowly, but it's slower compared to the rest of his attacks. He'll move it across his lateral body, and it just does half your health, and it's hard to avoid, and it's so long, and it's just annoying. I hate it. Other than that, though, I think this is an amazing boss. I totally understand if this was someone's favorite boss in the game, because it is amazing. Yeah, Fume Knight is amazing. And then we got Sir Alone, who is also S tier. I think Sir Alone is better than Fume Knight. I don't think he's as hard as Fume Knight, because no, Sir Alone could be as hard as Fume Knight. I think if you've played Sekiro before, Sir Alone will be easy, because he's very similar to a couple of the bosses in Sekiro. Not that he's as hard as the bosses in Sekiro, but his moveset is very similar. It also is fitting because Sir Alone is Japanese, not Japanese because Japan doesn't exist, but what's the word? Based off of Japan. Like, he has a katana. He's got like samurai-ish gear on, and he's sitting crisscross when you first walk in the room. Besides, let's talk about the arena for a second. Best looking arena in the game. I don't know what it is about that floor. The next time that you fight Sir Alone, look at that floor and tell me it doesn't look beautiful. It's like ray tracing before ray tracing. It's so good looking. Amazing boss fight. Very, 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 very good moveset. Not to mention amazing design, amazing soundtrack, and a very cool very cool fun fact. If you do this boss hitless, which can take quite a while, he will commit suicide. It's like a way, like honor. I forget what it's called. Seppuku. I don't know what it's called, but I think that's pretty cool. They really put effort into this DLC. Sir Alone is amazing. He's just an amazing boss fight. Yeah. And then on to final three bosses. The last DLC, the Ivory King. We got Ava the King's Pet. This is the first boss of the DLC. Assuming you don't do the Frigid Outskirts. I did the Frigid Outskirts last. So I don't know. I recommend getting it done with as soon as possible because it's terrible. But Ava's a solid fight. It's not like I don't know. I appreciate this fight. It's a Sabretooth. The first time you encounter this boss, assuming you walk straight into the boss fight before exploring a little bit, she's gonna be invisible, and that's because you need the Eye of the Priestess to see her. You can fight this boss while she's invisible, which is very impressive. But for me, that's impossible. I don't think I could ever do that. So yeah, once you get the Eye of the Priestess, this boss becomes much, much easier. Because you can see her Her moveset is a little gank. It's kind of hard to telegraph some of her moves. Specifically her forward swipes, because it's hard to tell if she's gonna do a second or third one on top of the one she already did. So that can be a little annoying, but it's nothing crazy. I think the design is nice. The arena's cool. Very fitting first boss of this DLC. Then we got Ludin Zalin. So this is literally Ava, but times 2, and the worst run back in the entire game. And it's not even funny, and it's just lazy. This boss is completely optional, by the way. I think it's got one of the worst designs. Like, you really gotta fight 2 of these things at the same time. And I know that no, they have the same health bar, and the second one is tankier because as its health gets lower, it'll like cast a spell on itself that gives itself health and a damage boost and a speed boost, I believe. It's terrible. It's terrible. The arena's nice. Boss designs are sick, but yeah, it's gank. I'm sorry, it's just gank. And I'm actually going to put Ava down here as well. Get the final boss of Dark Souls 2. It's the Burnt Ivory King. Another S tier boss. See what I'm talking about? The DLC genuinely slapped. 4 out of the 9 DLC bosses ended up in S tier. Not a single DLC boss ended up below C tier. Only 1 ended up in C. No, 2. 2 ended up in C tier, but the rest, come on, 4 in S tier. That just shows you how much of a step up overall it was to the base game. But the Ivory King, I don't know if it's my favorite boss fight in the game. It's definitely contending for my favorite. So you can fight the Ivory King the minute you defeat Ava, okay? It's a lot easier if you don't. So the idea is, before the Ivory King appears in the arena, you'll jump down in the arena with an Eloise Knight. I forget how they're pronounced. And you have to fight waves of these corrupted Eloise Knights, or they at least look like them. And then once you defeat enough, you have to fight the Ivory King. Now, you can bring multiple Eloise Knights in with you. You can bring a total of 4 in. And so you explore the world, and you rescue these different knights. And for each one you rescue, they'll accompany you during the boss fight. During the boss fight, there are 3 portals. 3 portals. And each Eloise Knight corresponds to a portal. So if you have all 4, 3 of the knights will close a portal, which means that there will no longer be any NPC enemies fighting you alongside the boss. And then there'll be an Eloise Knight extra helping you against the Ivory King. And it doesn't come off as cheesy, though, because it's actually it feels a lot more like a large-scale battle, especially if you have summons, because, you know, you're dealing with the boss while there are NPCs around you, and you got allies, and you can influence this boss, and you can do it right away, or you can wait. You can choose how you do it. It's nice. It's really cool. The boss's entrance is amazing. The OST is amazing. The arena is amazing. And his design is also amazing. I do think that this is my favorite boss in the game. I think I said the Fume Knight was the most rewarding I felt when I killed a boss, but I actually think it was the Ivory King. Simply because this boss was a real challenge for me. Not as much as the Fume Knight was, but it felt really rewarding to see my hard work on the exploration side of things pay off, because, you know, I explored with the explicit intent of rescuing all of the knights. So having the knights be there and fight along my side, defeating the Ivory King eventually, like that was just epic. So yeah, I think a lot of people will agree with me there too. Definitely my favorite. Definitely, I'm making up my mind now. My favorite boss in the game. It's the Burnt Ivory King. And that's gonna do it for me, guys. That is the entire uh, boss list for Dark Souls 2. I don't think there's gonna be. I don't think I have much moving around to do. Yeah, as you can, there should be optimally, like there should not be anywhere near this many bosses in C tier or below. I mean, C tier is okay, but like, come on, dude. They're like, look at all these terrible bosses, and I would honestly argue even the bosses in C tier aren't good. For Souls games, the bosses in B tier and above are what I would consider like acceptable. Not acceptable, but like good standard, okay? I'm gonna move the last giant up a little bit. Yeah. I also think, yeah, I think that's fair. I'm gonna move Ludenzollen down, actually. And I'm gonna put Ava. No, I'm gonna keep Ava in B tier. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. I've yapped for quite a long time. I think it's almost gonna be like an hour and 30 minutes. But if you stick to the end of the video and you got through my endless yapping, I'm happy. I'm glad you guys decided to watch the video. As I said, I'm happy to make these. I'm really passionate about the Souls games. I will be doing one for Dark Souls 3. Don't know when, but I will be doing one. Thankfully, I won't be as angry doing that one because there aren't nearly as many disappointing bosses in that game. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.